Hey, today's March 2nd, 2017. I haven't done a cello video in quite a while. I think this year has been quite busy for me, and trying to keep some motivation for practicing the cello has been a bit of a struggle this past couple weeks. But here I am trying to make an effort to get in some, again, deliberate practice for the cello, and hopefully continue to make some progress and not lose the momentum that I've built in the past year. So, speaking of past year, it has been over a year now since I started playing and learning the cello. So it's my sort of cello anniversary. I haven't gotten the time to sort of reflect back on some of my older recordings to sort of track progress and, as people like to do, sort of comprise a time sequence of progression from when they first picked up the cello to wherever they are in their journey. But maybe I'll do that when I have some free time coming up. So I'll try to do something like that. But without further ado, I wanted to talk a little bit about a little bit of another practice technique that I've been playing around with a little bit, and it sort of came about because I'm trying to keep my cello in tune, and sometimes my ear, when I hear the tone, it sounds like a C or it sounds like a D. Sort of sounds like where it is, and generally I think I'm okay, or no, I think I'm okay with being able to tell whether or not I'm grossly out of tune or whether or not I'm within the range. But a tool to help you to do that, of course, is your tuner. So if you have a spare device or maybe an external tuner available, to have that in front of you as you practice, sort of helps keep you, within those keeps you more attuned to paying more attention to whether or not your fingering is actually correct. And I guess this sort of comes with more practice and more time in which your fingering is more accustomed to, and will be able to find the particular finger position and notes more readily. But given that I'm a beginner, even though I've been playing for a year, I think I'm still very much a beginner at the cello. Sometimes even first position, I might be a bit off, or maybe the spacing of my fingers might not be exactly where they should be in order to really hit a particular tone. One of the big things in the Suzuki method that I've heard is tonalization is a big thing to keep in mind, to make sure that you're letting it ring out and ringing out on the correct pitch. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep an eye on my tuner, and let's start off with just a scale, just to make sure that I am playing those exact or as close as possible to the notes that I should be playing, and sort of adjusting my fingers where need be, whether it be sort of shifting it slightly, sort of even rolling the finger a little bit forward just to get it a little bit more precise, or coming back up the fingerboard to flatten it out a little bit. So let's give that a try. Okay, so let's start off with the scale. The open string, of course, hopefully you have kept that in tune. I actually just tuned my D and A strings here using the large pegs, because my fine tuners went all the way down, so I couldn't sharpen it. I couldn't tighten it anymore. So let's see, make sure the open tunes are in their correct positions. Pretty close, a little bit flat. Good. Good. Okay, so let's try to scale, and I'm gonna keep an eye on my tuner to make sure that when I am in a particular position that I will adjust accordingly if it's not. A little bit sharp. A little bit sharp there. Flat there. And let's try that with the vibrato just to see how much it's varying on the tuner. Off on that one. So I was at the G. One thing I've noticed that I'm trying to keep an eye on this, and when I'm trying to do the vibrato, if I'm not consistent with that vibrato motion, my finger will start to slide either one way or the other to become a little bit more flat or a little bit more sharp, even if I'm just trying to sustain that particular notes of vibrato, like this E, the E on the D string here. So here's the E. Now let's try to add a little vibrato here. And it's jumping, all over the place. If I had another camera, I would have it sort of show it side by side with where I actually am. Maybe I'll try that next time, but I'm looking at it and my E is just jumping sometimes way over to the flat side, way over to the sharp side, which might be expected for trying to sustain a vibrato, but it should be a little bit more consistent, I feel. my sort of lack of practice in the past couple of weeks have really sort of weakened my fingers. I feel them quite fatigued trying to sustain that vibrato. So, another little hint that, should have some more consistent practice, and I'll try to keep that in mind and try to keep up with trying to sort of share how my progress is going by recording it. But, even if I don't do a recording, I should try to find that motivation to sneak in that 15, 20, 30 minutes of practice. That's going to be on my mind in a couple weeks coming up. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do as part of this practice is I started moving on past May time to the little bit, I guess is an exercise here in the Suzuki Cello School Volume 2, in which it introduces the second position. And this is called Etudes for second position. And it's basically 3 segments here in which I'm on the A string and playing with second position here. And I had kind of had a hard time trying to figure this out. I had my instructor sort of walk me through sort of where am I supposed to be and how is it supposed to feel, as well as watching some other people play this on YouTube to sort of hear at least and get an understanding for how they are shifting in the second position. So I'll just go ahead and describe this just a little bit as I play this first segment. It starts off on the A string, of course, and it starts off on the B here, which is the first finger here. So and I still have my tuner here, so I'm watching the tuner as I play this to make sure that my shifts are to the correct note, because the sound of this wasn't too memorable that you would hear if I'm blatantly off or not. So that's why I wanted to talk about having the tuner right in front of you as we experiment and practice with these shifts into second position. So it starts off with the B. There it is. Followed by a C sharp, and I'm still in first position. C sharp is the 3rd finger on the A string here. So let's see if I can hit that. So that's what C sharp on the A string sounds like. So again, B, C sharp. And then the 3rd note is where it actually shifts into second position, I think. And I'm going to play the D using the 2nd finger. So what's going to happen is the 2nd finger here is going to play where the pinky would normally go in first position. So basically I'm shifting down this much. So the 2nd finger here is now where my pinky was in first position. So basically I'm shifting down 2 fingers, sort of 2 fingers worth of spacing. So let's see if this is the D here. Pretty close. And then the last note in the first measure is the E, which will be the 4th finger in second position. So I shifted down the second position here, and then I'm going to place down the pinky, and hopefully this is the E. So even just playing those 4 notes and keeping an eye on the tuner has sort of made me a little bit more conscious of, my spacing is quite a bit off. It's quite a bit off, and it's also quite a bit inconsistent. So I've been sort of just, playing one or two measures over and over to try to make sure that my spacing is correct, so that I sort of get again more familiar with what is the spacing in first position, what is the spacing like in second position, how much do I need to move down, what does it feel like, how much of this movement is there, are there any other sort of indicators to help guide me in where second position actually is, because I remember when I was watching some other people's YouTube videos, they're talking about, you know, as you slide your thumb along the neck of the cello, that once you reach the end of the neck where it starts to have the body here, I think that's, you know, an indication of another position. And then, you know, certainly like in proportion to where on a cello will be another guide as well. But since I'm, you know, brand new to this, it's very inconsistent. So having that tuner in front of you, having a tuner in front of me has helped me, and hopefully it'll help you if you are in this part in your journey. So again, B, C sharp, D, E. In fact, I'm singing it, and I'm probably not singing it correctly, but let's see how it sounds again. So I have to find that B and make sure that's in tune first. My C sharp is a bit flat, so let's try that again. Oh, see, my shift was incorrect there. Let's try that again. B, C sharp. Try that again. So that's how this first piece of this etude for second position sounds. B, C sharp, D, E, D, C sharp, D, and the fingering for that is 1, 3, shift 2, 4, 2, 1, 2. So let's give that a try. So this has been difficult to figure out and also still difficult to practice, but I feel like I should work on that and drill on that a lot more. Alright, so let's give this second section of etudes for second position a try. It's a little bit similar to the first section, but it has different fingerings and slightly different notes here. So let's see how this is supposed to sound. It starts again on B on the A string. There it is. And then it goes B, C natural this time instead of C sharp. So the C natural is the second finger here. B, C natural. B, C natural. And then again, the D again is going to be another shift. And this shift here is the same shift as the first section. So it's going to, my second finger should come to where my pinky would normally be in the first position. the second measure of the second section is a little tricky, and it's tricky for me because it comes. So let's play the first measure one more time. It goes B, C natural, shift to D, E. There it is. There's D, D, E. And then come back to D, and then staying in second position here, I want to play a C natural. So where my first finger is in second position, this would be a C sharp. So in order to play a C natural, I need to really sort of stretch this first finger back to here, and hopefully this is the C natural here. So close, and then I'm putting the second finger back down, and you notice that there's just a big gap between first and second finger here, as I'm sort of stretching back my index finger in second position. So if my second position is here, I'm stretching this first finger backwards up the fingerboard in order to play that C natural. So again, last measure here is and for some reason I'm having a really hard time doing that. Like I try to stretch back, but sometimes it's stretching back a little bit too much, sometimes it's not enough. And then after hitting that C natural, even though I'm trying to hover my second finger where it originally was, when I place it back down, I'm looking at the tuner and I'm off. So again, quite tricky for me to figure it out at this moment. So let's try that again. D, C natural, D. So let's play the second segment again, all the way through, starting with B. So this is going to be quite a tricky sort of journey to get from first position to second position, and it's sort of introducing it with this etude. I'll leave the third section for next time, because I feel like I'm still on very shaky ground with playing these first two sections. But we'll see you next time.